Hello, I'm Dr. Berkowitz, and I'm going to be teaching your Communities and Organizations class this semester. Very excited to get to know all of you, and wanted to make a video to tell you a little bit about me, to tell you a little bit about our class, and show you how I organize things in Canvas, talk about our main assignments, and our semester schedule. So a little bit about me. I've been a community organizer for almost 20 years, worked on lots of different issues, racial justice, economic justice, lots of different things. For the past about 10 years, I've focused a lot on the legislative process and politics more broadly. I find that a lot of people, as you probably have found too, are either kind of angry or apathetic when it comes to politics. And I think that there's a lot of good that can be done there, especially at the local level and the state level. So I try to kind of get people involved. You know, I find that no matter how little time a person has, no matter how little they know, I think there's something everybody can do to help make their communities better, make their world better. So that's my main professional passion and research passion. And if you ever want to talk about anything, politics or research, let me know. Happy to talk about it with you. So that's a little bit about me. So let's talk about the class. First, I'm going to show you Canvas. This will probably look a little different for you since you have a student view and I have the teacher view, but hopefully it should be pretty similar. So let's look at that. Okay. So when you first open the class, I think this is roughly what you should see. So these modules are in the middle of the screen. So I'm always going to leave this module at the top. It's called Important Information. So here you're going to find the semester schedule, the assignment descriptions, student support services, and this is totally optional. This is a discussion board that I'm going to leave open all semester, just in case you all want a place to vent or talk with one another about school or life or anything. Again, totally optional. Don't feel pressured to use it. I heard some professors say that their students found it really helpful last semester, so I wanted to offer that for all of you. So like I said, I leave this here throughout the semester so that you can access it easily. So let's look first at semester schedule. So this is this first week. You have 3 major assignments that I'm going to go over in just a second. So as you can see, they're due. The first one is due at the end of week 2. The second one is due at the end of week 4. And the third one is due at the end of week 6. So again, anytime if you're confused, if you forget, this will be here all the time for you to easily reflect back to. Let's see. Let me jump over to the assignment descriptions. Okay, so this is going to be your first assignment. And again, be mindful that this is going to come up really quickly, right? We start this first week on a Wednesday. So I didn't want to make your first assignment due that first week, but it is going to be due that second week. I did try to make your first assignment though, I don't want to say easy, but more accessible than, it's not going to be a paper. So I think hopefully that'll be a bit more doable for you. So this first assignment, it's called a Photo Voice Community Exploration. So you may have heard of Photo Voice, you may not have. It's you know, in a paper, you're expressing your thoughts, your ideas, things you've researched, obviously in words. So you're still going to use words in the Photo Voice assignment, but you're also going to be using images. So mainly photos. They can be photos that you've taken yourself, or they can be stock photos. And I give you a couple of different websites that I use for stock photos for you to find them for free. You can also use art. If there's any other kind of image that you're interested in using, let me know if you have a question about it. So the idea is you'll be making a PowerPoint. If you don't have PowerPoint, you can do a Word document. I think Prezi is I think is a platform that is available for free. That's another one that you can use. Basically any document that you can put pictures and words in. So I have an outline here, as you can see. So you'll have a few sections. You'll have an introduction, background information, social issues, worker variables, and then a self-reflection. So for each of these sections, I'll want you to include a few photos and talk about whatever it is I'm asking you to talk about in each section. So, and this is all about a community of your choice. So community can mean a lot of different things. So for you to get a better understanding of that, let's see here. When do you read about it? The first week, okay. So in your first week, the readings are chapter 1 and chapter 8. So chapter 8 is where they talk about communities. So if I were you, I would definitely give that a read if you're at all confused about what constitutes a community. Just to give you a little preview, it can definitely be physical. That's what most people think of when they think of a community. It can be like a neighborhood, it can be a city, but it can also be, you know, virtual. It can be people who aren't connected by a place, but are rather connected by an issue, by an ailment, you know, the LGBT community, LGBT plus community, immigrant community. And again, these can be really, really broad or they can be really narrow. So definitely read chapter 8 so you have a better understanding of that and you can pick your community more easily. Okay, so again, if you go to your our class in Canvas and you go right here, assignment descriptions, you can read about the assignment in a lot more detail. Okay, so then let's go over your second and third major assignments, just briefly. So the second assignment is going to be about a social problem. So you're going to be building off of that first assignment when you picked a community. If you want to, you can talk about a different community in the second paper. It just might make life a little easier for you if you want to do the community you worked on in your first assignment. So again, I give you an outline for each section. You'll have an introduction, you'll do some background information, you're going to talk about policy issues, you're going to give the relevant resources for the community. So this paper, it's kind of the big assignment, I think, of the semester. And again, I would try not to wait too long to start on it if I were you, because it's due in week 4. So you're going to pick a problem for your community. So let's see, I think I mentioned as an example somewhere that for the homeless community oftentimes have trouble getting health care, or at the very least have trouble taking their medication regularly. So that's an example of a problem. And again, these problems can be really broad. They can be at the federal level. They can be really local. So I live very close to the school. I live in Florence, so I could talk about the Shoals community, or if you live in let's say Tennessee, you can talk about a city in Tennessee, or again, it can be a whole state. It can be, you know, all of Alabama. These things that I'm talking about right now might be a little bit confusing because I suspect you probably haven't dug into the content at all because it's the beginning of the class. So these things will definitely make more sense as you read about them more, as you start to work on the assignments. But as I mentioned in the welcome letter, I'm a big believer in no dumb questions. So please do feel free to reach out to me anytime about anything. And I'll try to answer your question. I might point you to something. I might not answer you directly all the time. I might say, I think you can find your answer in chapter 8 on page 234. But I'll always try to help if I can. Then let's go to your last paper. So assignment 3 is going to be a write and reflect. So here you're going to be finding your elected officials, and you're going to write to at least one of them, and you're going to write about what that process was like. I think it should be not too bad. The paper's only 3 to 5 pages. And one of those pages is going to be the letter that you write to an elected official. I'm also I'll record a video closer to that time so you can have a little more guidance. A lot of people aren't used to finding their elected officials, don't know who they are. So I'll give you some guidance about how that works and some resources on how does one write to an elected official. So you won't be doing this on your own. So hopefully that's not too intimidating. So those are your 3 major assignments. But then you're also going to be having smaller assignments. So on those 3 weeks that you have a big assignment due, I don't assign anything else that you have to turn in, because I think when you have a big assignment due, it takes up a lot of energy. And so I don't want to put any more pressure on you. But the remaining 5 weeks, you're going to have a couple of things due. So let me turn this around again. Okay, so you'll see if you open up the semester schedule, so again, each week that you don't have something due, you'll have a discussion board due and you'll have a quiz. So each week it's going to work the same way. On Wednesday, you'll have the first part of the discussion board due. On Sunday, you'll have the second part of the discussion board due. And on Thursday, you'll have a quiz. But I hope that doesn't sound too intimidating, because I try to keep them, again, I don't want to say easy, but I try to make them accessible. I just want to make sure that you understand what we're reading about that week. I want you to be connecting it with either things you've read about or things you've experienced in your professional life or personal life. I think you're all in internships right now. So maybe some of the things that we're reading about, you might be able to connect to your internships. So that's usually what the quizzes will be about. The discussion board is going to be a little more open-ended. Again, I write in, I think, the welcome letter that these are supposed to replicate the kind of conversations that usually happen in physical classrooms. So my idea with the discussion board is I'll ask a question, and then so by Wednesday, you need to share your thoughts. And then by Sunday, I want you to comment on at least one person's post and share your thoughts with them. So this first week, again, it's going to be very quick, because our semester, for whatever reason, starts on a Wednesday. I think I'll probably give you a day extra since our semester starts on Wednesday. So that probably won't be officially due until Thursday to give you a little more time. But if you have the ability, try to do it on Wednesday, your first post, just to help you get in the habit of it being due on Wednesdays. That one will mostly just be kind of like a get to know you post. I'll ask you where you're from and what you're most interested in social work. Like, are you interested in working with older folks? Are you interested in working with littles, addiction, trauma? I want to know what you're most passionate about. Because again, I really enjoy learning about all of you and all of your interests. So again, I think that first post should be pretty easy. And then by Sunday, for your second post, just respond to at least one person and say, oh, wow, that's interesting. You're interested in trauma. You're from Tuscumbia, Alabama. My Aunt Sue is from Tuscumbia, and I am also interested in trauma, or anything like that. So that's discussion boards and quizzes. Okay, we went over your assignment descriptions. Let me show you where you'll turn those in. So I told you that we have this first module is the important information, but after that, each week I'll put the most current week right below it. So right now we only have the first week. So you're watching this right here, the welcome video. There's that welcome letter. I'll always put your readings in there. I'll be adding a PowerPoint shortly to kind of go along with our readings for this week. So here's the discussion board and here's the quiz, first quiz. So each week that we have a quiz and discussion board, that's where you'll find it in the module for that week. The last thing I think I'll mention is, I talk about it in the welcome letter, is that I really want you all to advocate for yourselves and to communicate with me. I very, very much want all of you to succeed. I wrote in the welcome letter that I have a very generous extension policy. So I typically don't take late work because I do have such a generous extension policy. So it doesn't have to be an emergency. If you're just having a tough week, you know, family stuff, work is very hectic, whatever the reason, if you need a little more time to do a quiz, a discussion board, or an assignment, if you let me know before it's due, I will almost always give you an extension. You know, if it's every week, we might have to have a talk, but you know, a few times it's no problem. So please communicate with me, again, before something is due, because like I said, because I do have a generous extension policy, I typically don't take extension work, late work, except in the case of emergencies, obviously. If you're in the hospital, if your kid is, you know, very sick, you know, if something really big happens, we'll work that out. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to tell you? I think that might be it for now. Like I said, I'm very excited to work with all of you. I'm very, very passionate about communities and the organizations who do good work in communities. So if there's ever anything that, like I said, that you're confused about in our readings, please let me know. I'm always happy to set up a time to talk with you over Zoom or email or phone. And I'm also happy to make a video if you, you know, say I'm not really understanding this concept. If you let me know, I'm happy to make a video about it if that would be helpful. So I think that is it for me. I look forward to talking with you soon, and good luck with your first week. Bye for now.